Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique was invented in the late 1980s by Francesco Cellero, a university student. Like many students overwhelmed with assignments and intense study schedules, Cellero struggled to complete tasks without feeling burnt out. It is a time management method that uses a timer to break work into intervals. It is highly effective for maintaining focus and preventing burnout. This technique is great for those individuals who struggle with maintaining focus over a long period of time. This is how you can implement it. Choose a task to be accomplished, set a timer for 25 minutes, work on the task until the timer rings, take a short break, preferably 5 minutes. After 4 intervals, take a long break, say 15 or 30 minutes. Getting things done. Getting things done was coined in 2001 by David Allen in his book called Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. It is a personal productivity methodology that involves capturing tasks, clarifying what they entitle, organizing them, reflecting on them, and engaging in them. This technique is great for people with many responsibilities and tasks to manage. Here's how you can implement it. Capture everything that needs your attention. Clarify what each item means and what actions are required. Organize actions and tasks by categories and priorities. Reflect on your list regularly. Engage with tasks based on priority and context. Eisenhower matrix. Eisenhower matrix was popularized in the mid-20th century by Dwight D. Eisenhower. It is a time management tool that helps prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. This is great for people who need help with prioritizing tasks. Here's how you can implement it. Create a 2x2 matrix. Label columns as urgent and not urgent. Label rows as important and not important. Categorize tasks into 4 quadrants. Focus on urgent and important tasks first. Pareto principle. Pareto principle, also known as 80-20 rule, was coined in early 20th century by Wilfredo Pareto, which basically says the 80% of the results come from 20% of efforts. It is highly effective in identifying most productive activities. This is for those who want to maximize efficiency. Here's how you can implement it. Identify the 20% of the tasks that produce 80% of results. Focus on your efforts on these high impact tasks. Delegate or minimize time spent on less productive tasks. Time blocking. Time blocking was popularized in the early 21st century. Not sure who coined it, but it was popularized by Carl Newport. It is a method of scheduling your day into blocks of time, each dedicated to specific task or group of tasks. It is highly effective in avoiding multitasking. Here's how you can implement it. Plan your day in advance. Divide your day into blocks of time. Assign specific tasks to each block. Stick to the schedule as closely as possible. Eat that frog. Eat That Frog was coined by Brian Tracy in early 2000s in his book called Eat That Frog. It's a productivity technique that encourages tackling the most challenging task first thing in the morning. It is highly effective in overcoming procrastination and getting the hardest task done first. Here's how you can implement it. Identify your most challenging task. Commit to completing it first thing in the morning. Focus on this task until it is done. 2-minute rule. 2-minute rule was coined by David Allen in his book Getting Things Done. It is a rule that states if a task takes less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. It is highly effective for reducing small tasks that accumulate over time. Here's how we can implement it. When a new task arises, estimate if it takes less than 2 minutes. If it will, do it immediately. If you don't, schedule for later. MITs, or most important task. MITs is about focusing on completing a set number of the most important tasks each day. This is for those needing to prioritize their workload. Here's how you can implement it. Identify your 3 most important tasks each day. Focus on completing these tasks first. Once completed, move on to the next critical task. Kanban system. Kanban system was first coined by Taichi Ohno, an industrial engineer at Toyota, who developed it to improve manufacturing efficiency in 1940s. It is great for teams and individuals needing to manage workflow. Here's how you can implement it. Create a Kanban board. You can do it manually or use software like Notion. Divide it into columns: to do, in progress, and done. Use cards or sticky notes for tasks. Move tasks through columns as they progress. Smart goals. Smart goals was coined by George T. Doran in 1981. It is a framework for setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It is great for those who need a structured approach to goal setting. Here's how you can implement it. Define your goals using the SMART criteria. Break down the goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Track progress regularly. The 5-second rule. The 5-second rule was coined in 2017 by Mel Robbins in her book 5-second rule. It is a productivity technique where you count down to 5 to 1 to initiate action. The idea is simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. It is great for those who are struggling with procrastination or hesitation. Here's how you can implement it. When you have an instinct to act on a goal, start counting down from 5. Once you reach 1, take immediate action. Daily Highlight. Daily Highlight was coined in 2018 by Jack Knapp and John Zetsky in their book Make Time. It is about choosing one main task or highlight to focus on each day. It's highly effective for maintaining focus on key tasks and preventing overwhelm. Here's how you can implement it. At the start of each day, identify your most important task of that day. Allocate time and focus to complete this highlight. Plan the task around your daily highlight. Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law was coined in 1955 by Cyril Northcote Parkinson, which basically says that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. This law works great for those who find themselves taking too long to complete tasks. Here's how you can implement it. Set strict deadlines for tasks. Allocate specific and limited amount of time for each task. Focus on completing tasks within the set time limit.